Hey folks, good morning. Good morning from the Philippines. We're waking up to news of the earthquake that happened down near Fatima's village last night. I think it was around 10 o'clock p.m. It was a 6.9, very near to the village, to Daanbantayan, off the coast in the water. So just to put it distance-wise, if I'm not mistaken, it was about 12 miles from Daanbantayan. That would put the village, say, anywhere, just say less than 10 miles from where the quake actually hit. They've cleared the tsunami warning, so I think they said that's the last update. There's clear on the tsunami warning, no issues with that, but there have been injuries and deaths. People have died in the earthquake. Churches, some old churches have collapsed. I read one thing where it said a church in Daanbantayan had collapsed. And it's starting to rain on me with the sun coming up, so it's sort of an ominous morning here. But that's all we know. We haven't been able to get a hold of Flo or any of her family. It's probably understandable. Everybody's on the phone. The system's jammed up. So Fatima's a little bit worried, trying to get a hold of the family. The Philippines sits on the rim of fire. Earthquakes here are a way of life. It's the same way with typhoons, flooding, landslides. Every year, the Philippines gets hit with various types of natural disasters, and so this is just another example of what goes on here. The village, if I had to guess, everybody in the village is okay. Let me just be Captain Obvious here. If you're living in a bamboo shack, as I call it, it's actually the safest place to be. Okay, what's going to fall on your head? Just some bamboo, right? The danger is being in these buildings that, in my opinion, aren't built up to earthquake standards. A lot of them are older buildings. That's the danger. So if you're anywhere, any area, and your building starts doing the shake, rattle, and roll, get the hell out of there. Get out of that building before that thing pancakes. Get out into an open area. So the village, everybody living in, single-story bamboo shacks, they're fine. I'm certain they're fine. There's a few houses that have concrete, what have you. Now, with that said, that one, I called it the Leaning Tower, that we were thinking about buying, there's a good chance that thing come to the ground. And hopefully, we'll say a quick prayer that nobody was around that thing. And maybe it's still standing, but it was doing the gangster lean, 10 miles away at 6.9. That thing is probably, if I had to guess, it's on the ground. Flo, they live in a little one-story spot, but it is concrete walls, and again, that's the danger. During the typhoon back in 2013, in one area, a child got killed just by the wall, the concrete wall of a one-story structure falling, and just imagine a cinder block coming off the top ropes. It's obviously dangerous. So that's all the information that I have right now. I'm sure if you stay tuned, once she gets up and running, you'll see the damage down there. But again, the earthquake hit, over in the sea, roughly 10 miles at a shallow depth, from what they're saying. About 10 miles from the village, about 12 miles from Daanbantayan, where her sister lives over there. It's like 18, 19 clicks. So pretty close. I've seen some videos of, a bridge going towards Cebu. I mean, it was doing a pretty good shake, rattle, and roll, no doubt. And the ladies that's filming is just, praying to Jesus. I mean, it's rocking and rolling. Motorbikes, all they could do is just lay them over and hold on. Saw a picture, in Cebu City, there's a lot of call centers. It showed all the call center folks evacuating because, folks, they work nights. A lot of accounts, they service the United States, what have you. So, you know, they're working nights talking to you in the States, doing customer service and stuff. So if you call any of your companies and maybe you don't get customer service promptly, you might want to have some understanding, right? No script here. That's just the thoughts on the top of my head. Baby, have you been able to get a hold of your sister? Still no luck? You want to come on out here? It's sprinkling, but it's sunshining over there, Big Pumpkin. We'll be fine. It's just a...
Tsunami alert.
They're doing what?
Tsunami alert.
Well, last I heard, the tsunami alert was cleared. Okay, but there's always the potential for aftershocks, and I think there's at least been 2 aftershocks. And folks, I'm just reading. This is preliminary reporting. Probably a bunch of what I'm saying is not accurate, but you know how the news is in these types of events. They're just going to put something out there and revise it later. But so I obviously got a worried Filipino wife here about her family, and it justified. It pretty close to home when it's about 10 miles from the village. Anything you want to add, baby? Huh? Just keep trying to get a hold of everybody. The problem in these situations is nobody ever answers their phones here on a normal day. They just never answer their darn phones. They've either got low bat or they're just not listening. When you try to call somebody here, it's very frustrating. They never answer their phone. So when an emergency goes down, you don't know if it's just, you know, the norm that people don't answer their damn phones or if there's a problem. So there you go. That's my quick update. Our thoughts and prayers go out to everybody down there affected by this. And obviously we're praying that everybody in her family is okay. And it's incidents like this that it just reminds you of where you're living. You know, let me just go off on a side note. You know, where we live right now, there's a stratovolcano that way. There's a stratovolcano that way. You got Pinatubo and you got Mount Riot. 2 huge monsters. One which erupted in 1991, lowered the global temperature by about 1 degree for 10 years, rough estimate. So I often wonder, you know, I look around, I'm like, why am I living here? I went to Pompeii, sat there and looked at Mount Vesuvius and said, you know, why is everybody living here in Naples when they know what happened in 79 AD? And then here I am living in between 2 volcanoes. So if something happens, there's no, like, how'd that happen? Well, I know for a fact I'm living in between 2 volcanoes. Why do you do it? You just think it'll never happen to you. You think that you're just rolling the dice, playing the odds. Oh, it'll never happen to me. Well, that's what they thought back in 91 when Pinatubo went off. So sometimes I question why I'm living here in the middle of a volcano sandwich. A lot of y'all watching my show, the reason you're doing this is you're doing research on where you're going to move during your retirement. You're doing research because you're thinking about moving to the Philippines or you're thinking about moving to this country. You're comparing it to other countries. Well, if you watch most of the videos out there, they're just going to tell you the positive things. They're going to tell you the good things. To put a smile on your face, give you a warm and fuzzy, but it doesn't change reality, the ground truth about where you're going. So all of the polished videos and documentaries you see, whether on this platform or wherever you're watching it, you really need to get down to into the weeds and evaluate objectively where you're going to move. So if you move here, there's an earthquake threat all the time. There's a typhoon threat for several months out of every year. Every year there are multiple typhoons that come here. Okay, every year there are earthquakes. All right, flooding, landslides in certain areas. this country is plagued by natural disasters on a routine basis. Just statement of fact. Not trying to sway you either way, but I'm trying to keep it real and use this incident to say, okay, you're up there. If I were the type person to build a dream retirement home in my old lady's village, which I am not, I recommend you rent. What if I just sank $200,000 in a house down there in her village, and now, boom, here's a 6.9, 10 miles away? It's sustaining some damage, probably. Do I or would I have earthquake insurance? Do you? If you built a house here, do you have earthquake insurance? Do you have any insurance? These are just things you need to seriously consider if you're coming here. Now, I can only compare, well, let me just compare it to my home. I live in Thailand. I know some of y'all find that difficult to believe, but my home is in Thailand, and I'm here temporarily. Been here temporarily for a little bit longer than I planned. In Thailand, I don't deal with earthquakes. I don't deal with typhoons. Don't deal with volcanoes, volcanic eruptions, or the threat of volcanic eruptions to where people have to evacuate the area. I don't deal with all that. I deal with the rainy season. It rains a lot. As long as you don't buy or build or rent a place in a low-lying area, you just deal with a bunch of rain, a little bit of wind. I don't deal with the natural disasters over there that you deal with over here. That's a constant, let's use the word threat. It's a constant threat. There you go. Just statements of fact. So keeping it real for you here. I'll try to give you an update if I'm sure once they get up and around, we'll hear from them, and I'm sure everybody's fine. If they were living in some type of high-rise or something like that, I'd be a lot more worried. But when you're living in a one-story flat or bamboo shack, especially out in the middle of a village, that's the safest place you can be. The most dangerous place you can be is in the city with these tall buildings where A, you've got to evacuate to get out. Then when you get out, the buildings are so packed together that there's shit falling off the top, swimming pool, rooftop swimming pools getting jostled around where water's coming down. That's the dangers, in my opinion, in the cities. So, her family situation, little small villages, safest place to be. Just sitting here looking at my situation, say an earthquake goes down now, and we're in a 2-story house. It's built to more modern standards. I wouldn't be as concerned, but if an earthquake did start shake, rattling, and rolling right now, hey man, hey, this dude's in his underoos, and I'm trying to film a video. Hey, come here, stay with daddy, man. If there were to be an earthquake now, we're gonna run out into that open field over there, and we're gonna be fine. Just get low. I saw these people like huddling, trying to stand up and keep everybody standing up. Just get down. Just get down on your knees or get down, sit down, so you don't get knocked over. They're like holding these elderly people up. Like, just get low. But that's our earthquake plan. Anything goes down here, we're just gonna run out into this open field. Easy, son. Get away from the power lines, because there's power lines right here, right? But if we can get away from the power lines, away from the buildings, out into an open field, you ride it out. You ride it out, and then you have patience and stand by for those aftershocks. Because there's always aftershocks. So, Force G. All right, folks, that's my update there. Again, I'll update you once we hear from them, but I'm sure they're okay. Son, over here, man. He's running around in his Superman underoos. His mother knows I'm trying to talk to you fine folks out there and talk to this camera. We've been doing it for, what, almost a decade since she's been with me. All right, I'm out of here. I'll get this uploaded. Again, our thoughts and prayers go out to everybody down there that's affected. And again, there's injuries, and some people have lost their lives down there in this event. So we'll say a prayer for them, and we'll update you when we can. Peace out, my friends.
What?